Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. I would like to take this opportunity, if I may, to address a question that I have received from a number of different people over the past, say, few months, I would say, which is asking me very kindly about or having curiosity about my own personal film, maybe childhood upbringing or something, or specifically how was it that I got into certain types of world cinema and the like. And so I'm very happy to respond to that question in the course of this video. Now, just as a threshold matter, please note that I have spoken a little bit about my childhood, my background, in a series of Q&A videos which I have uploaded, which are available to watch on this channel. So if you're interested, please feel free to check out those Q&A videos. There are quite a number of them, but if you are interested, please check them out. But specifically, to answer the question about how it was I really got into film from the very beginning, I would say that I could use two examples from my life in my childhood to express this. The first being when I was very young. I was born in 1979, and I'm a child of the 80s. And I was born in Japan, but I grew up, I spent a lot of years in my childhood in the United States and some in the United Kingdom. But I do remember during that time the notion of being able to watch films from VHS rental stores, and I've spoken about this in a previous video, but through this I really grew to love and become enamored by, in particular, certain types of genre films, the genre horror sci-fi films that really populated the cinematic landscape in the 1980s. I was really enveloped by that atmosphere. It was such a great time, and that has carried me through my life, even to this very day, such that I'm still enamored by many of those films. So that's one area where I would say that that's very important. So again, when I was maybe, I don't know, in my 5, 6, 7, maybe around that time. And then when I was a little bit older, I would say in my early teens, not quite in college yet, of course, maybe middle school, high school, somewhere around that time. I don't quite remember exactly when, but it was around that time. And I remember discovering or watching for the first time the film Yojimbo by Akira Kurosawa. And this was a VHS tape that was a rental, and it was cropped, so it wasn't a letterbox presentation or anything like that. And I remember this very vividly because it was the first Kurosawa film I saw, and I was quite taken aback by it. It was a really awe-inspiring experience from my point of view. And from then on, my life changed, because that started my love affair with the films of Kurosawa. And I must say, too, it really came at a very important time in my life, I would say. Or, well, actually, let me try to explain that as best as I can, because as I say, I was still growing up, and maybe I was in my early teens, maybe a little bit earlier. Again, I forget exactly when, but it was around this time where perhaps I, as a kid growing up, it was maybe an awkward time for me. Maybe it was difficult for me to really find friends and to make friends and to feel like it was a good time. Because I admit, sometimes it would be okay, but then there were other times where I would feel very lonely, and I would feel somewhat displaced, for lack of a better word. And again, this is when I was living in the United States at the time. And so I was feeling, I think, something that I needed something. And I wanted to make friends, and maybe it was difficult for me to do so. And I was an only child too, and so I didn't have siblings to talk with and that sort of thing. My parents were very, I loved them, and they were really great to me. They really were wonderful parents. But even so, it was still something where I needed something to discover, and I needed something to feel connected with at the time. And I remember there was some period there in my adolescent youth where I felt like I was still maybe adrift, not quite feeling connected somehow. And I remember it was in this time that Kurosawa and I met, as it were. To be more specific, this is where I first saw the film Yojimbo. And it was so important to me, incredibly important to me. I think because of this yearning, or this feeling of being adrift, this feeling that I had in me, I think that is what really encouraged me to try to watch more Kurosawa films as well, along with being so excited about the film Yojimbo. For me at the time, I do remember feeling that when I watched the Kurosawa film, not only was this an exciting, exhilarating film, this was also a film that was made by a Japanese filmmaker in Japan with Japanese actors. And at the time, being in the United States, again, I'm very grateful for my time there, but I also felt like I needed some kind of connection with my Japanese side of me, for lack of a better phrase. And so I think with that, the Kurosawa film came at such an important time for me, such that I felt not alone. I don't know if I felt like there was a connection. And from there, those connections, or that connection, just grew stronger and stronger in my heart. And I was discovering more Kurosawa films as I could, based on the availability. And I think after that was Seven Samurai, and Ikiru, and Sanjuro, and Redbeard, A Throne of Blood, and Rashomon, and the list, of course, is endless, of course. And this became a very important discovery, and it became a really crucial start of a significant film journey in my own heart, such that Kurosawa films really helped me. They really came to the rescue at a time where I think I really needed rescuing the most, in a manner of speaking. And I felt, as I say, I felt very proud, and I felt like there was a connection that I could make, even though it was just me and the TV screen and the VHS player. I still felt I could have this connection, or this connection where I could become excited and really be proud of something in terms of maybe a kind of heritage that I shared with the people who made and contributed to films like Yojimbo and others. And so this is something that really helped to form, I think, a very key critical part of my outlook on cinema. And of course, as I grew up, and I was very fortunate to be able to gain a certain degree of work experience, life experience, family experience, and the like, I felt like the possibilities in terms of discovery of film were just beginning. And it was a wonderful, amazing time as I was getting older and older, and it was wonderful. It was, of course, it wasn't all wine and roses. There were some ups, there were some downs, of course, but still, overall, I could say that it was a wonderful time of not just cinematic discovery, but dare I say it, self-discovery as well. That was inextricably linked with my own discoveries of cinema, and I think I can trace that all back to that day where we decided to rent the VHS tape of Yojimbo by Akira Kurosawa all those years ago. And so I now hold the film Yojimbo and the films of Kurosawa in general. I hold them in such high regard, not only because of their craftsmanship and their glory and their brilliance as films, and I've spoken about many of them in past videos on this channel, but also I hold them so much in high regard because of the fact that they mean so much to me personally, and they really came to my life at a time where I think I needed them the most, if that makes any sense. And so I was, even now, I feel like I feel like I owe a certain degree of gratitude, or I have a debt that I owe to the cinematic world of Kurosawa and what it was that those films did for me, and the kind of things that they were showing to me in a time when I was a young kid. And I think there was a time where I needed it the most. And so, and I know that I mean, I know that right, films are these really peculiar, wonderful things, right? I mean, we don't know they're there until we discover them, right? And so I feel very fortunate to have been able to discover Kurosawa at the time that I did, and it just started that journey, which is still ongoing to this day. To this day, I rewatch his films on a very regular basis, and every time I watch, I mean, it's a cliche, I know, but it's true. It really is true for me in Kurosawa films. Every time I watch a Kurosawa film, there is some new discovery, whether it be in the center of the frame or maybe in the corner or something that is illuminating somewhere, a small detail or a much larger detail, who knows, a much larger refrain, something, always something new appears. And so and that excitement that I feel, even with those new discoveries, is the same kind of excitement that I remember feeling when I first saw Yojimbo, as I say, all those years ago. And so that's generally where I could say that my another major milestone of my cinematic journey really took hold. And then from there, it was again, life-changing. There was no stopping me now once that happened, and I just discovered more and more films and more filmmakers. But that, I think, was a really important moment. I mean, another way to put it could be that if I did not rent that film Yojimbo the way I did when I did at that time, when I was however old I was, many, many, many years ago, if I didn't rent Yojimbo, then I wouldn't be here. I don't think I would be into cinema at all. Maybe I would be a very casual fan of cinema, but that would be pretty much it. Maybe my energies would be devoted elsewhere, perhaps, but they certainly wouldn't have been devoted to cinema had it not been for watching Yojimbo at the time that I did. And so I really owe a huge debt of gratitude to that film and the filmmaker and the filmmakers, and so that even now, whenever I think of Yojimbo and I see Yojimbo, a picture or something like that, or I recall or a memory from the film, I'm just filled with so much happiness, and it makes me feel right. I feel happy. And so I don't know, maybe for you and you, my dear friends who are watching this, maybe you have similar films like that you can count as your discoveries, and not just discoveries, but films that really came at a very important time in your lives, depending on what those moments could have been. I'm not sure if you have a moment like that. I'd love to hear about it. But in any event, my friends, this is my moment, or one of the key moments, which was the discovery and the first time that I ever watched a Kurosawa film, namely Yojimbo. Such that to this day, it is a film that I absolutely cherish. And I think I will cherish it forever, until my dying breath. I will cherish that film right to the very end. So that's Kurosawa's Yojimbo and my discovery of that film, as I say, many, many years ago. Okay, my friends, thank you very much, and I'm very sorry for the indulgence with this video and talking about this. I hope you can forgive me. And if you have any similar types of episodes in your life that you'd like to share with me or share with us, as always, my friends, you are more than welcome to do so in the comment section below. As always, I'd love to hear what it is you have to say. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. Thank you once again for your time, my dear, dear friends, and cheers.